You know, it's that time of year, and I want to talk about another spooky, scary skeleton. It's your boy, SCORPIO. Alright, so old mate SCORPIO, he gets a lot of hate. I've seen countless examples of people saying that this is one of the worst Bionicle sets of all time. And to that I say, no. Yeah, this set has some flaws, but I think he's still pretty cool. Let's talk about all the pieces that come in this set and how you could use them to build your own Bionicle creations. And then let's look at a few revamps of the set as well. And then we'll check out all the lovely play features and other great aspects of this set. So SCORPIO doesn't offer much in the way of posability. The legs are static. They don't move at all. There's no body movement either. Yeah. But the tail, it can be positioned slightly, and the arms and the neck, well, you can pose them as you would expect. See, this is one of the biggest criticisms of the set. It just doesn't move much. There's barely any posability. But you know, this is no different to a G1 set like Muaka and Kainra. They have that great play feature which allows the neck to launch out and that sweet bite function. But otherwise, the model is still fairly still and static. It doesn't have any other posability, really. And you know, I don't think that ruins this set. And I think you can say the same here. Yeah, look, it would be great if you could play with this a little bit more and pose it. But at least it's always in this great silhouette. A silhouette that looks very striking and very charming. And it looks fairly similar to a more fantastical Scorpion, which is pretty cool. And like the Muaka set that we just spoke about, this set also features a brilliant play feature. You can pull down on the tail at the base, and the blades, they'll kind of strike together in a kind of lashing motion. I think this is actually really fun to play with. The idea is that you get a character like Pahatu, and SCORPIO gets to like strike at their face, doing their best to rip his mask off. And you can do so, but you do have to do a few tries before you can actually rip it off. I don't know, I think this is really enjoyable. And also, every other Skull villain, they were all humanoid-style characters. So to get a unique Scorpion design like this, it's nice and refreshing, and it sets him apart from all the others. He's got a nice mask, some cool colors. See, he's not that bad. He's also not that great either. He is certainly the weakest of the Skull villain wave. But just because he's a weaker set doesn't mean that he's bad. I think there's many great qualities to him, as we've discussed. And one of those good qualities are some of the pieces that you get in this set. Let's see how you can use them to build your own MOCs. SCORPIO's Stinger uses these blade pieces. Here's two suggestions for how you can use this piece, but they're in the one MOC. Max Howell, they've built them into the leg design here, and I think they look delightful as feet. Very sleek, very agile. Then up top, the torso and the face, they're made up of these pieces. It's a bit more of an abstract design, but it does look nice. This set also includes a nice amount of these CCBS bone pieces that are shaped like skeleton bones. Eclipse Caller uses these pieces for a bit of a funky design, stringing a bunch of them together to give this MOC an interesting tentacle face, kind of like Cthulhu or Davy Jones. That's a good idea. And then the limbs and the fingers, they're also made up of these pieces. Kind of a long and lanky look to them that is certainly disturbing and horrific. So, you know, if you want to make a creepy character, use these pieces for their limbs. Now, speaking of which, SCORPIO's legs, they're made up of 6 of these bony appendage elements in gunmetal. How else could they be used? Well, you could continue to use them as leg pieces, like Eclipse Caller has done on this MOC, only this time you place them the opposite way around. And you can put them on the end of these bone pieces too. I don't know, making them longer and flipping them the other way certainly makes them look a lot more creepy. Alternatively, you could turn this piece into some kind of wing design, much like Poor Disadvantaged has done here. And actually, this MOC uses a lot of different pieces from SCORPIO. We can see some of the trans neon green elements, as well as that ribcage piece on the torso. They're all included with this set and used here. And even some of those silver blade pieces, they're used on the sword. Yeah, it's worth studying this MOC if you want to find even more ways to use the pieces that come in this set. SCORPIO also includes G2 Pahatu's golden mask, but this time it's marbled with some trans neon green up top. And this is a brilliant looking piece. And one that actually looks pretty good on Pahatu himself. It ties in with his color scheme and everything. But if you want to use this on a MOC, you could do what Paragon's Dimension does. He's got 2 of them on the shoulder pads of this MOC. Well, actually, this mask is the Uniter version of the mask and the one we were just talking about. But regardless, they make for awesome shoulder armor. I think it's a sick aesthetic. And finally, if you want to use this skull mask, well, don't overcomplicate it. Build yourself a skeleton warrior, much like Eclipse Caller has done. It's nice that they also have a bit of a derpy looking helmet on top. It firmly plants this into a bit of a fantasy setting, and it does pair well with the mask. Alright, now let's check out some revamps of this set. Axel Ford gives us a way bigger and way better version of Skull Scorpio. I love this tail. It's a bit more atomically correct for an actual scorpion, at least the tail part is. The stinger sticks closer to the original set, but it tones it down a little bit, and I think making it smaller was a good choice. It doesn't dominate the design that much, and I think it being a little more subtle works in its favour. And man, adding some fire onto the pincers and then turning them into giant blades? I don't know why I love this so much, but it's dope. Yeah, I guess the placement of the flames and the rough shape of these blades, it's kind of a scaled up match to how it looks on the original set. It's kind of just a bigger upgrade. Very nice. You know, this really is one of those characters that benefits from having a larger Titan form. The characters never looked better. And then I also really like this one by Follisk. It flips the mask the other way around and gives it more of an animalistic shaped head. One that's somewhat more accurate to an actual scorpion. Somewhat. You know, removing the more skeleton, human-like head from the design, it does make it look way cooler. Now it's just a giant scorpion instead of being a weird scorpion-human hybrid thing. Now these legs here, they're way more posable, just using those bone pieces. I mean, honestly, you could just take this design and put it on the official set and it would probably look pretty good. And then 2 giant buzzsaws for the pincers? Heck yeah. One other thing that I really like is this modified tail. It still keeps the same shape, but it's just that little bit smaller. And good idea to use some of these Vizirac pincer pieces, specifically the ones that came on this set. That's just a really nice, smaller alternative to using these very large blade pieces that were on the original set. I like how it looks. And then a Borok weapon up top. It was pretty great. And that, everyone, is Skull Scorpio. A set that gets, I think, way too much hate. Thanks for watching this review, and if you want to see more from the builders that I highlighted in today's episode, be sure to take a look at the links in the description below. Go give them a like, give them a follow, go comment on their stuff, let them know what you think of their incredible creations. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.